live in a nice neighborhood with my mom and my dad. My dad works the night shift, and my mom always has worked from home. Now, I love my mom. I really do, but she's kind of a dork. She's a little bored at home, so she always picked up weird hobbies. There was refinishing furniture, building birdhouses, raising exotic animals, ghost hunting, you name it, she's done it. The worst part is, she hasn't been good at any of them. That's why when she started acting unusual at first, I assumed she had just picked up a new hobby. But as the days progressed, things got weirder and weirder. My mom started rushing me to go to bed. I'm 16 years old, and she was snapping at me to get in bed at 9. 9! She was fine with it for a while, but soon, she was getting aggressive about it. I told her I couldn't go to bed that early, and she told me I should take some sleeping medicine to knock out. I started locking myself in my room and pretending I was asleep, just to see if I could hear anything that was going on. I always heard voices, a lot of them, but they always seemed kind of distant and hushed. One night, I couldn't stand it, so I walked downstairs to get a glass of water. I could hear the voices a lot more clearly, and it seemed like they were all coming from the basement. My mom must have heard my footsteps because in an instant, she was at the top of the stairs screaming at me to go to bed. I couldn't believe it. She looked so mad, and she had these weird marks on her face that looked like ancient writing or something. That's when I started to feel a little scared. Her hobbies had always been kind of endearing and harmless and dorky. This felt different. For the next few days, I paced in my room trying to figure out what I was going to do. As I passed the window one day, I saw them. A group of adults, all in a line, wearing black cloaks and paint on their faces. They walked through the backyard towards the back door. I dropped to the ground so they wouldn't see me. People in black cloaks entering your house in the dead of night is never a good thing. When I asked my mom about it, oh man, did it not go well. She told me I must not be getting enough sleep if I'm seeing crazy things like that. Then she wanted to take me to a doctor or something because I was seeing things. I know what I saw, and she knows exactly what I saw too. The next day, I snuck down while they were in the basement. I pressed my ear to the door, trying to hear something. Anything that would help me understand what was going on. I had to prove to myself that my mom wasn't evil. When I pressed my ear to the door, I could hear everything a lot more clearly. I heard my mom's voice, yelling some really scary things. She talked about how she was the one people should be worshiping. She was the chosen one, the one with the power. I fell away from the door horrified. I couldn't listen to anymore. Was my mom leading a cult? I'd never heard her say anything like that before in my life. She sounded so confident, so angry. She sounded like a cult leader. And for the first time, I was really actually scared of my mother, who I used to think was so sweet and innocent. I ran up to bed. I had to tell Dad. I had to get more proof. I had to do something. First, I had to go in the basement. Mom went grocery shopping the next morning, and that was my chance. I ran down into the basement as fast as I could. I had to get this done before she got home, but I wasn't prepared for what I'd find down there. Those dark cloaks everyone had been wearing, creepy candles, even giant creepy banners with a weird-looking symbol on them. In fact, everything had that symbol on them. The candles, the cloaks, the banners. I picked up a book at the front. It almost looked like a rule book, like their Bible. I opened the pages to see if I could get any answers, but the whole inside was blank. Was there a special way to read it? Did they have a secret light or a powder they used or something? Just as I was trying to investigate the book, I heard a door open upstairs. Mom shouldn't have been home for at least another hour or two. She had just left. I pocketed the book. There was no time for me to get upstairs without being seen, so I crawled under the staircase in between all of our storage boxes and waited. The door to the basement opened. Sure enough, my mom started walking down the stairs, mumbling to herself. I tried to hide myself even more. I could feel the spiders crawling all over me. I could feel the cobwebs tickling the back of my neck and my face. I bit my tongue so I wouldn't scream. Finally, Mom came into view. She rolled her eyes and grabbed her wallet off the table. I heaved a sigh of relief as she ran back up over the stairs. I waited until I heard the front door slam before I crawled out. I couldn't believe I was hiding from my own mother. That night, before my dad left for work, I pulled him aside. I tried to tell him everything, the weird people in the house, the whispers, the creepy stuff Mom was saying. I even handed him the book, but he asked if I had made it in art class. He thought I was lying. I tried to defend myself and tell him I wasn't, but he just kissed me and left for work. I was fuming. Have you ever had your parents just ignore you because they think you're being a dumb kid? Or had them treat you like you don't know how the world works or what you're talking about? That almost made me more mad than all the secrecy going on with Mom. Something was going on, and if he wasn't going to listen, I was going to have to prove it for myself. I told my mom that Friday night I was going to go to a friend's house. She seemed excited, but like she was trying to hide it and act all nonchalant. I had my plan in motion. I would go to my friend's for an hour or two and sneak home at 10, right when I knew she'd be having those people over. The time came and I left my friend's house. As I turned the corner towards my own house, I noticed a glow coming from the backyard. I crept around the corner. I could hear the roar of a fire. My heart started to pound. What on earth were they doing back there with a fire? I peeked through the hole in the fence. What I saw on the other side will be burnt into my memory forever. The group with all the people in cloaks were in a circle around the fire, and my mom was standing on a box yelling at them, yelling at one person in particular. She screamed at a small woman opposite her, calling her a traitor, saying she betrayed the whole group and deserved to be punished. The woman was shaking. She seemed so scared. What was my mom doing? I'd never seen her like this my entire life. She was terrifying. My hands started to shake uncontrollably and I could barely breathe. The other group members grabbed the woman. The fire illuminated their faces and made them look absolutely crazy. My mom said they were going to take care of the woman once and for all. Was my mom going to really hurt someone? The woman who raised me? The woman who used to cry at nature documentaries? Had the power really gotten to her head? The woman screamed on the other side of the fence. I had to avert my eyes. I couldn't watch this madness. I had to do the right thing. I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. My fingers were shaking as I punched it in. How could I do this to my own mother? What was wrong with me? Was I making the right choice? All these questions screamed in my head, but when the operator picked up, I knew what I had to do. I told them my mom was about to hurt someone and gave them the address. I sat against the fence looking away from everyone as I waited for the police to arrive. When the red and blue police lights flashed over the house, I heard a hush fall over the other side. I ran to meet the police with tears in my eyes. I told them everything. My mom was in a cult and she was about to punish one of the members. The police officers looked shocked. I hid behind them as they busted into the backyard. My mom immediately put her hands up and asked, "What the heck is going on?" The woman that had been screaming had a look of confusion on her face, not of relief. That's when I knew something was wrong. That's when I knew I was wrong. My mom explained that they were just rehearsing for a community play. A play? I felt my stomach churn. I was so confused. My mom explained to the police that the play was premiering next Saturday and even handed them a poster. With that, the police left, warning me not to call in with a false alarm again. I felt hot tears sting my face. I asked my mom why she'd been so secretive, why she'd been so mean. She explained that she wasn't going to tell us until opening night because she didn't want us to make fun of her. We'd always been so judgmental of her hobbies. She just didn't want to embarrass herself until she could prove to us that she was actually good at this, that she had actually found something she excelled at. I felt terrible. I had made my own mother feel bad about herself. I had made her feel like she couldn't explore and be herself without us making fun of her. And it made me feel so guilty. I apologized and gave my mom a hug. The next Saturday, Dad and I went to see her perform the play. She was incredible. I mean, Oscar-worthy. I couldn't believe my mom was such a good actress. Since then, Dad and I have both really encouraged Mom's hobbies. I've come to realize when someone loves something, we should just let them love it. Poking fun at people's ambitions isn't funny. It's just kind of mean. I had always viewed my mom as just my mom, when really, she was a person like me, who is just trying to find something to do that she enjoys. Have you ever made fun of your parents, or siblings, or friends for their weird interests? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed my story. Don't forget to like and subscribe.